A gentleman contacted the record store and he said I have a lot of audio I need to get rid of. And I already noticed there was some issues when I talked to him on the phone. And then I went to his place and he's like, yeah, I have a counselor or someone who's helping him tidy up his house, apparently for the 4th time now. And I feel like he has some social and financial trouble and needs to get his stuff figured out or they may kick him out of his house. The house was not in a great shape, but he was very friendly and he was reasonable with his prices, although I must admit I have given him a bit more than I would normally offer because I think he needs it and I hope he uses it well. Now, he did convince me that everything is functional and he has way more, and whether I pick up the rest also depends on whether this is all functional. The shape it is in is, well, I had to look through everything because it's covered in nicotine and dust. But everything looks to be in good shape otherwise, so I wouldn't even be surprised if most of it works. But let's find out together. You can be pretty happy there's no smell-o-vision unless you like the smell of cigarettes. Let's see. First up, this Sony F261R, which has no feet, but if that is all, it does power on, it does switch inputs, and I could hear the relay click, so far so good. Let's hook it up and see what we got. I do apologize for the sound in the background. It is my film digitizer again. You've heard it before in other videos. I'm digitizing films from a friend's mother. Most of them are shot in the 60s in Australia. It's actually quite interesting. Obviously, private material, can't show you anything. But it's good footage. It's a good slice of time. Either way, let's see. I hooked it up and so far it's very quiet. Do I need to turn on speakers? Did I use another input? I should be hearing something now. I hooked it up to CD and I plugged in the speakers. So I should be hearing something. But thus far, very far away to something. But it's not a lot. Did I do something else wrong? Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's flawless. Let's try the phono. That's the noise of a functional phono input. If you want to, I can test it properly, of course. Volume down, treble up, bass down, phono, sort of fixing that RIAA curve, and so far, flawless. It's a pity the feet are missing, but I'll just put some feet under it so it's not scratching everything, and this one's alright. Next up is this Denon PMA 700AE. And it has a sticker on it for speaker group B that says WC, so that is water closet, also known as toilet. Apparently this person who used this before had toilets in there. Oh, sorry, speakers in the toilet. Let's see if it gets out of protection. Can take a little while with the Denons, yes it did. And then we go to CD in. How does this work? Is there a light? Here we are, CD in. Did I connect it to CD though? I connected it to CD. Okay, speakers are on. Speaker group A. Oh. Ooh. Dirty switch. Okay. Does the phono input make noise? Phono and tape, silence and noise. So this one too works exactly as it should, and there's slight distortion in the beginning. No biggie, it's just dirt in the switches that may not have been used for a bit. So this one too, despite its appearance, which is not very clean, works as it should. Let's see, it needs to clean, but it's actually in good shape. So that's gonna be alright then. Next up, and you may be starting to see the theme here, it's mostly amplifiers from this hole. It's a JVC, unfortunately a surround amplifier, which is not particularly desirable, but these are pretty reliable and they actually sound quite alright. So let's hook it up, see what we get. Okay, power's on, speaker group A is on, let's set it in stereo mode. Can we do that? I think it is already in stereo mode. CD. Ooh, that's not good. That's a very nasty sound as well. Jeez. When you crank the treble, something starts oscillating. I think it's still just dirt, but that's a weird one. Do we still have music? We do? I think I paused it. Yeah, I did. There we are. Yep. Yeah, that's just dirt still. So probably... Yeah, it's nasty, but it works. Yep. As always, let's try the phono input. Yep. We have noise, not a lot of noise actually, which is good. Can't say the thing sounds great, but again, who knows how long it's been stationary, and everything works except for a scratchy pot, which is really not a biggie. It's easy to clean. And then there is something that I think is quite cool. It's a vintage JVC AX1. The simplest, cheapest one, but still a nice amp. The film digitizer has just stopped. I'm sure you'll be happy about that. I am going to turn it on eventually, but still. This is from around 1980. One of the speaker terminals is missing the colored bit. Volume down, power on, nice LEDs, aux. Ooh, feels a bit rough, but it works. Yeah, it works. Right, left, it's the wrong way around, but that's just me. Bit scratchy, but again, nothing major. Definitely needs to clean this one though. Should be an easy fix. Let's try the phono. Why did I turn it off? Let's try the phono. Tuner, no noise, phono, noise. So yeah, that all works again. So far, 10 out of 10. Everything works except for a scratchy pot or two, which is really not a big deal. They definitely need a clean. One of the terminals doesn't have its red screw, which again, not the biggest of deal. You can still use it, but it's obviously not ideal. But they're captive, so you can't just unscrew them and put them in another one. Sometimes with a bit of force you can, is my experience, but these really don't want to seem to come out. No, so I think you're gonna have to live with that, or I have to find one of these, but then again, how do you get them out? I'm sure there's a way. And then the last one from this pile, which is also the cutest one from this pile, is this little mini rig by Technics, CD player, tuner and amplifier. Okay, I have it all hooked up. I'm not sure why it's so wobbly. Oh, there's a rubber pad missing. Easily fixed, but for now it's a bit wobbly. So amplifier, tuner, CD player. Volume is a rotary encoder, so not much we can do there. Except plug it in, obviously. It powers on. Hello, it says. Oh, that actually still works fine. Usually these are a bit finicky, but this one works fine. Drawer opens smoothly and closes again. Probably dirt. They tend to do that. Usually after a few times they figure it out. It already waited a bit longer, did you see that? And eventually it will stop doing that. And it's solved. Okay, does it read the CD? That's my main worry. It tries. Audio disc it says. Well, that's correct. That was quick actually. Fine tweeter control. Okay, give me something with some highs then, so I can see what the fine tweeter control does. As far as I can tell, nothing. Let's listen. Well, with headphones too, can't hear a thing. It sounds very woolly and warm, but pretty good actually. It's nice. Okay, let's try the tuner. Yeah, okay. External, MD, tuner, CD, external. Play. Came with a remote, I think. You may have noticed the CD player was a bit skippy just now, but that is because the thing is wobbling, and I kept just making it wobble. The remote has had some leaky batteries in it, which is a pity. A lot of crap coming out. Can I take this off for a bit? I don't think so. There's lots of crap in there. I'm not sure if this is going to work right now, but let's give it a shot. I'd be impressed. But I'm impressed anyway, to be honest. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. This is going to need a... you can take it off. This is going to need a better clean, for sure. There's a lot of battery acid coming out of this, and I'm not sure if you can see, but it's all battery acid here now. Definitely going to clean my hands in a bit. Can I open this? I don't see a screw. This may not all be held together by battery acid. Really doesn't want to open, and I'm using quite a bit of force, but it is, the two halves are opening, but they are not actually splitting. Yes! Okay, apparently you can't at some point just pull this apart. You need to pry it everywhere. Yes. Here we are. Well, that's a remote, or was rather. Yeah, that's fucked. I can give it a shot, but it's probably fucked. Look. You see that? The acid has gotten onto the circuit board. It's everywhere. I'm gonna give it a clean and see if it helps. I cleaned it with some alcohol, but I don't think it's gonna work because, and then I cleaned the whole thing with water as well, because the main trace running from the integrated circuit on the side of the PCB to all of the knobs and buttons is broken. So even if it works, it's only going to work partly. As far as I can tell, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. So this is dead, but the rig works. So all of that, all of the amplifiers and this, and the only thing that's broken is the remote. Nice. I'm going to quickly clean this stuff and the other stuff I just showed you, just so it's a bit nicer to handle in the future when I continue working on it. And then there's some more stuff coming. One gorgeous, shiny, almost like new amplifier. There's a bit of a dent in the top, I'm not even sure if you can see on the video. But the cover, the front looks honestly spot on. I just see a little scratch here on a knob that may still be dirt. It is dirt. Is it? I'm not completely sure. Well, it's getting better at least, but I don't think it's dirt. It's a bit of a scratch, but it's in remarkably good shape. Cleaning, it's worth it. Right, riveting stuff. The Sony is now also clean. Looking good. This one was very dirty, I didn't show that, but still. And it now has feet, so it's yeah, it's a lot more stable and it doesn't scratch the surface you put it on. So easy progress. Again, they all need to clean internally. This one didn't actually, but the rest did because they're a bit scratchy. But other than that, these are all fine. So I'm actually pretty happy about this pile. And then there was more. A gentleman brought this into the store and it didn't quite become clear to us whether it worked or not. And he wanted to trade this and some other stuff that's upcoming in for a mini disc recorder. And we said, listen, we've got to test it first. You can take the mini disc now and pay for it, and then we'll pay you later if we can sell any of this. But apparently there's stuff wrong with it. There's this and an amplifier, I believe. Let's see. Royalty-free music tape incoming, obviously. Let's see what we get. These Onkyo's are good decks, but not the most reliable. We got fast forward, we got reverse, we got play. That's a good start. Do we have sound? I think we're in between songs. Yep. Running a bit slow. Other than that, it sounds alright. Okay. Actually sounds good. So, playback seems fine. Let's see what recording does. Bear in mind it's a bit on the slow side, so high frequencies will be a little limited. Counter works. Considering the fact that this is running a bit slow and this is a very used tape, I would say that is perfect. It's the Onkyo TA2028. Not the most upmarket machine, but it's looking really good. Someone should be really happy about this one. So I think this has also got no feet. Yeah, what is it with the feet? I think this one just has the little sliders though. There's no actual feet under it, so I'm just going to put some new pads on it and it should be a-okay. So I opened it up and it has a nicely marked bias, playback level, record level, and then there is nothing about speed, but there's one pot here next to an integrated circuit, which is probably for the motor control, and the cables from the motor go with it. Oh, no, probably not. There's also a pot on the motor itself. So that may be Dolby adjustment then, I'm not sure. No, that's that. So I'm not sure what that is. So this either is the speed adjustment or that. Let's try it out. And then I'm going to show you how I adjust speed, but let's first see what is even the speed pot. Not that, so I'm just going to put that back where it was. So that's the speed pot, but that's live wires. So I don't want to touch those or get too near them. Can I do this without touching them? Yes, I can. Bit hard to adjust, because if you touch it, you create a ground and it starts losing it. Now there's two ways of doing this. I usually do it with an app on my computer, but if you don't have that, if you don't have a computer hooked up to your audio rig, there's actually kind of a useful app here as well called okay, I found it. It's called Sonic Tools, and it has a frequency counter, and it's actually correct as I found it. So you can just use a microphone, and it gives me 950 hertz. So then you adjust. Okay, 1001. I accept 1001. It's very stable. So that should be good now. Let's try playing the music we know. That's this tape, right? Yeah, let's see. Yeah, that sounds alright. So all you need is one known good tape. Now this is recorded with a DAC that has quads control, quads locked capstan. So this is either correct or way off. It's a Technics DAC, I think. But you can even use a DAC you know is correct because you play pre-recorded tapes on it or so. Close enough is close enough, but if you have someone who has a quads controlled DAC, you may want to have them make a tape with just a 1 kHz tone, get Sonic Tools, and or any frequency counter honestly, and do it that way. But this DAC is now perfect. That's all it needed doing to it. So it's quite a nice machine. Still wonder what that pot is though. It doesn't specify anything, and I'm just gonna leave it as it is. And then there was a Marantz PM66E, which is an interesting amp because I've actually never heard this one. And I generally like this series with the bulbous front. It's not particularly pretty, but they do sound pretty good. And I'm usually not a Marantz fan. Let's see how this one sounds and if it works, because apparently again something was wrong with this stuff. But the cassette deck worked pretty well, so the amp definitely just went out of protection. Let's see what we get, I guess. Scratchy pot, okay, no biggie. I don't like the sound of this one. Typical Marantz sound, not a fan. Eee. Well, does the phono input work? That's the next question. It does, but it's very quiet. I do want to test it because that seems a bit too quiet. It's just an MM phono input, which is fine. Let's see if we can get some sound from that. Yeah, works, okay. So what should be wrong with this one? Because it seems absolutely fine. Let's try to see the input, because that's what people often use. So if anything is wrong, it's going to be that, I guess. Source direct. Definitely a bit better. It's funny how it has source direct but no tone controls. All it has is balance, which works. Slightly scratchy knobs, but nothing major. Yeah. All good actually, nothing wrong with this one. So I just need to clean this spot. That's just a bit scratchy, but honestly, perfectly fine. Now here's something. This gentleman that this Pioneer belongs to is a friend of one of the record store owners. And let me take this off actually, because I don't like tape on machinery, but we of course need to remember who it's for. And he wanted these plugs, which he now has. It's plugs so you can use these weird Pioneer plugs with normal speaker cable, but these are a bit loose, probably because they're used a lot. These are not, so you can use Group B. And he asked me if we could overhaul it, and I was like, do you mean overhaul or just clean it so it works properly again? He's like, what's the price difference? I said, 20 bucks or a couple of $100. So he's like, yeah, clean please. So I just tried to hook it up, and this just pushed inside the inputs. So I'm gonna open it up, see if I can fix that, and see if it's even worth cleaning. I took the top off, and that doesn't get us very far. Everything is at the bottom, so it has one of those removable bottoms. I guess everything has a removable bottom if you're rough enough, but What I mean is, it is intended to be removed so you can actually reach everything, because in the top half of this machine, it's mostly the tuner, and the amplifier bit is at the bottom, which I kind of appreciate. What broke? Ah, yeah, that is the problem. The plastic is completely torn in half. Ooh, that's not nice at all. There is, however, still a tape input, so I'm gonna just put this back for now and not touch it. Maybe put some tape on the back so you can't push it in anymore, but then still tell them not to use it. They added a new capacitor here, some work has been done already. Still hard to get to the pots, they're all on this PCB. Let me see if I can get this out and see if I can get these pots cleaned. This thing has been through things. The screw that's in here is, as far as I can tell, a wood screw that's not supposed to be in there, which is fine if it works. The problem is, it won't come out. Way too long as well, but I got it. Random screw is random. I don't know where the nut went, but probably onto the ground. Okay, faceplate is off, looking good. This is obviously already not worth it, but hey, I'm here now anyway. Okay, and then let's see if I can get this PCB out, which in hindsight, I'm not even sure if I needed to get out. There's another, God. There's more nuts. So there's nuts holding the faceplate on, and then there's more nuts holding the PCB in. I mean, it's solid, but it's also a lot of work to take apart. Can I get this out now? Still no. Did I miss some screws? I just realized I don't care enough. Oh, I wasn't recording, let me show you. It does work. It's a bit scratchy, but it does work. The tuner works as well. There you are. I didn't hook it up to an antenna, but it does work. So yeah, it works otherwise, but it's obviously in really bad shape. And even though it's a kind of a cool amp, it's just not worth fixing anymore. But I put it back together, and I hope the owner finds someone who is willing to fix it, but that ain't me. And then there is this Pioneer PL12B. They went a bit crazy on this one with the packaging, and I'm not sure why. It was just taken to the store by means of car, as far as I know, so I don't know why all of the packing material. I also don't know where my pliers are. Oh, there they are. We got rope, we got plastic, but why? Anyway, let me take this off. Is there anything in there? Not that I can see. I think everything is. It's interesting. So they put everything in plastic for some reason. I again don't know why. But then the weight is just separate in the baggie. It's a bit strange, but it's a PL12B, and it's in pretty good shape after a clean, because it's definitely not clean. Comes with a Shure M70, I think. What is this? I think it's an M70 cartridge. I never quite know. I don't care for Shure, to be honest. I'm sorry. Anyone who does really should try some other cards. And look to be in completely original shape. Original power cable, original audio cable. Let's plug it in and see. It probably works. If there's anything wrong with these things, it's usually an easy fix, but let's see. Ground. There we are. Does it have a belt? It does have a belt, yes. But it doesn't run because I didn't plug it in. There we go. Okay. Lift works. Dampening is not much, but it's there. Where's my test record? Or a test record rather. What's the weight? Not too far off. Let's try this. We have 2 channels, I think. Yeah, there you go. So that seems fine. Let me adjust the weight properly. Okay, that's floating-ish. Does the anti-skate work? Pulling outward, pulling inward. It's a bit of a noisy one, this. Motor rubbers are a bit old. seems to work fine otherwise. As always, you need to let these run for a bit because sometimes the motor can be iffy, because it definitely needs new foam. The motor can be iffy if it's been used with a belt that's too tight, so I need to run this a bit and see if it stays reliable. But it should be alright, it needs a bit of a clean. The cover has a bit of a crack, but yeah, this should be good to go back into the store at some point. But it needs a bit of love, but it's functional, fully functional, so that's a good start. And that's that for this video. I'll see you in a future video. This is recorded in February of 2025, so I think this is the next one I'm going to upload. Quite recent then. See you again. And this, ladies and gents, is how you make a thumbnail.